On October 14, 2025, the global economic map is being redrawn, not with borders, but with data cables and digital marketplaces. The world's attention is shifting from traditional power centers to the invisible highways of information and commerce that now connect billions of people across continents. The new great game is about who controls the digital future, and India is the ultimate prize. In boardrooms and government offices from Washington to Silicon Valley, strategists are recalibrating their moves, recognizing that whoever wins India's digital market could shape the next era of global influence. With over 1 billion people coming online, India is the last vast, untapped consumer market, a digital gold rush that has Washington and Silicon Valley riveted. Every day, millions of Indians are joining the digital economy, making the country a testing ground for new technologies and business models. For US tech giants, India's booming middle class and smartphone revolution are the engine for their next phase of growth. The stakes are enormous. Success in India could mean access to hundreds of millions of new users, and a chance to set standards for the world's digital future. But New Delhi has built a digital fortress, a web of regulations, FDI rules, and data localization that keeps foreign giants at bay. India's leaders are determined to ensure that the country's data, and the wealth it generates, remain under national control. To the US, these are protectionist barriers. To India, they're essential for digital sovereignty. Each side frames the debate in terms of national interest, security, and the right to shape their own digital destiny. The result? A high-stakes clash between the world's oldest and largest democracies, each with a different vision for the digital economy. Negotiations are tense, as both nations seek to protect their interests while claiming to champion openness and innovation. The US trade deficit with India is soaring, and e-commerce is seen as a key battleground to address this imbalance. Billions of dollars are at stake, and the outcome could reshape global supply chains and consumer habits for years to come. Behind closed doors, the real fight is about who sets the rules for the next century of global commerce. Will the standards be written in Washington, New Delhi, or somewhere in between? The answer will affect not just companies, but billions of people worldwide. Will the internet remain open, or splinter into digital fiefdoms? The answer may hinge on the US-India standoff. The choices made now could determine whether the world's digital future is one of collaboration or fragmentation. The world is watching as these two giants shape the future of digital trade. As the stakes rise, every move is scrutinized, and the outcome will echo far beyond their borders. To understand India's stance, look to the Kirana, the small family-run shop at the heart of Indian retail. India's e-commerce rules are designed to shield these stores from being steamrolled by global giants. Foreign-owned marketplaces can't own inventory or favor big sellers, forcing Amazon and Walmart to act as neutral platforms. Data localization rules demand that Indian user data stays within the country, a matter of sovereignty and security. For US firms, these policies mean higher costs and operational headaches, but for India, it's about nurturing a homegrown digital ecosystem. Regulatory scrutiny is intense. Amazon and Flipkart face ongoing investigations for anti-competitive practices. The message is clear: foreign investment is welcome, but only on India's terms. For American corporations, India isn't just another market, it's the market. Walmart's $16 billion Flipkart buyout and Amazon's billions in logistics are bets on India's future. Frustrated by tough regulations, these giants have turned to Washington, arguing India's rules are unfair trade barriers. Their lobbying has made e-commerce a top issue in US-India trade talks. They claim India's restrictions hurt consumers by limiting choice and competition. But India fears a duopoly that could crush small retailers and suppliers. The government's role, referee, not cheerleader for the biggest players. This is a fundamental clash. US firms want scale and efficiency. India wants equity and empowerment. The standoff is about more than profits. It's about who shapes the rules of the digital age. America's India strategy can't be separated from its rivalry with China. The growing competition between Washington and Beijing is reshaping global alliances, and India sits at the heart of this new geopolitical chessboard. As the US decouples from China, it needs India as a strategic partner and alternative tech hub. India's massive market, skilled workforce, and democratic system make it a natural choice for American investment and collaboration. Apple's ramp-up in India is just the start. Washington wants India as a pillar of its friendshoring initiative. The goal is to build resilient supply chains that bypass China, while deepening economic ties with like-minded nations. but US firms want market access, creating a delicate balancing act, pressure India on trade, but not at the cost of the alliance. American companies are eager to tap into India's booming digital economy, but New Delhi is cautious about opening its doors too wide. If American companies are blocked, a vacuum emerges, one the US fears could be filled by less aligned powers. China, or even other regional players, could step in to shape India's digital future if the US falters. The US wants India's digital infrastructure built on open, market-driven principles, not protectionist or authoritarian models. This is about setting the rules for the next era of global technology. Breaking down India's e-commerce wall is about more than sales. It's about shaping the global digital order. Whoever writes the rules in India could influence standards worldwide. Washington is willing to risk friction because integrating India into its orbit is a long-term, strategic imperative. The stakes are high, and both sides know the outcome will shape the balance of power in Asia and beyond. The stakes: will India become a US-aligned tech powerhouse or chart its own, more guarded path? The answer will determine not just economic futures but the very architecture of the digital world. The outcome will echo far beyond e-commerce, influencing global alliances, technology standards, and the future of international cooperation. India's e-commerce market is exploding, with hundreds of millions of new users still to come online. The opportunity is massive. Investors see the world's next great consumption boom. But it's not just US giants in the race. Indian titans like Reliance and Tata are building digital empires, backed by government policy. Their rise shows India's rules aren't just about blocking outsiders, they're about building national champions. Blockbuster IPOs and surging investor confidence prove the model is working, at least for now. The real contest: can Indian firms, nurtured by protectionism, truly compete with global giants? The answer will define the future of retail for 1 billion people. The battle for India is a test case for the digital economy's next chapter. E-commerce tensions are spilling into a wider US-India trade conflict, with ripple effects that reach far beyond online shopping carts. In August 2025, the US doubled tariffs on Indian goods, officially blaming India's Russian oil purchases. But in reality, it's a move to ramp up pressure on multiple fronts: economic, political, and technological. Indian exports, textiles, pharmaceuticals, jewelry, are reeling from the sudden hike. Factories are slowing production, and workers are anxious about their futures. Even India's booming tech sector is feeling the chill as uncertainty clouds the business climate. US tech giants, once eager to expand in India, have paused major data center investments, waiting for the dust to settle before making their next move. Washington's new $100,000 H-1B visa fee is a direct hit on India's IT talent pipeline. For many skilled workers, the American dream is slipping out of reach, raising fears of a reverse brain drain as talent looks elsewhere. Indian manufacturers are pivoting to Africa, dodging tariffs and finding new incentives. New trade routes are opening, and partnerships are forming in unexpected places. This global shuffle shows how quickly trade pressure can backfire, undermining US goals and forcing companies to rethink their strategies overnight. The once red-hot tech romance between the US and India is cooling fast, replaced by uncertainty, caution, and a scramble to adapt to the new normal. The lesson is clear: in a globalized world, pressure in one area can trigger unpredictable shifts elsewhere, setting off a chain reaction that no one can fully control. The stakes for both economies have never been higher, and the world is watching to see who adapts and who gets left behind. Today, the US-India relationship stands at a crossroads. Escalating tariffs and stalled investments risk a lose-lose spiral, pushing India toward other partners and weakening US influence. The alternative: tough but necessary collaboration. The US must respect India's need to protect its small retailers and unique digital path. India, in turn, must ensure its rules are transparent and fair for all players. Striking this balance between protection and openness is the great challenge and opportunity. The shared prize is enormous: $1 trillion digital market and a strategic partnership for the 21st century. The choice is clear: collision or collaboration will shape the future of global commerce.